Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a mind-bending mythological epic of cosmic creation, the tale of the Silver Cathedral and the Cosmic Loom. Now, to really bring this to life, I'm going to step right into the shoes of the Weaver himself. I want to tell you this story from the inside out, enthusiastically tracing how a broken world was transformed and how the very fabric of the human psyche was spun into a completely new sanctuary. So let's get into it. Okay. Let's kick things off by recalling my descent into the valley. I didn't go down there to fight off the impending doom, Not at all. I was simply waiting. I stood there, watching the violet frost do its relentless work, waiting for it to completely strip away the fragile veneer of human existence. The old world was full of illusions, and honestly, they had to be shattered entirely before anything permanent could take their place.
Chapter 1. The Stage in Ruins.
So, the Great Silence falls over everything. The world as you knew it was basically just this crumbling 7th century theater state, a place of constant, exhausting performance. But as that old stage collapsed into smoldering debris and black ash, I started moving silently through the ruins. I was carrying my spindle, which was made entirely of frozen moonlight. I wasn't there to save the physical buildings, right? I was there waiting to catch your falling sparks of identity in my silver web, right before they faded out for good.
Chapter 2. The Obsidian Harvest.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that I wasn't the only one operating in the valley during the Great Silence. High up on a mountain precipice stood my antagonist, the Obsidian Doctor, and our views on human existence? Complete polar opposites. The Doctor, operating on pure, cold calculus, looked at the destruction and just saw a scheduled harvest. He treated you, human souls, like disposable assets belonging to a dying king. But my vision was totally different. I didn't see disposable assets, I saw solid coordinates. I wanted to take those sparks and create permanent threads to anchor a brand new reality.
Chapter 3. Spinning the Silver Sanctuary.
Once I had gathered those falling sparks safely within the shimmering void, the real work began, the epic act of creation. I wasn't just throwing up a temporary shelter, I was spinning a translucent cathedral. And the absolute key here is that I used layers of vibrating information to build it. I replaced all those distorted reflections from the Jester's old stage with true structural permanence, finally giving you a solid, decay-proof floor beneath your feet.
Chapter 4. Id, Ego, and Superego.
Let's break down the actual mechanics of this cosmic web, because this is where it gets really incredible. I didn't use stone or steel or wood. I used the raw components of the human psyche to build a singular, unyielding fabric. First, I took the id, that raw, voracious, instinctual hunger. I bound all of that endless hunger into fine silver silk and spun it into the very structural pillars of the sanctuary. I took your deepest drives and turned them into an unshakable foundation.
Next up was the ego, human pride, our individualized sense of self. I took that pride and intricately wove it into a massive philosophical bridge. And to make sure it was aligned perfectly, to connect our new shared reality, I navigated the whole construction using a compass of cold starlight.
And finally, to cap it all off in the highest chambers, I utilized the superego, that righteous moral compass we all carry. By reinforcing the high points of the cathedral with this, I created a shimmering ceiling that provides essential moral gravity. This was absolutely crucial because it permanently prevents any of us from drifting back into that web of false intimacy that completely plagued the old theater state.
I want you to really think about what this felt like for the survivors trying to escape the reign of that dying king. You're watching your entire world turn to ash, and then suddenly it feels as though the very stars themselves have descended from the sky to knit the rubble back together. That's the gift of the Silver Cathedral. Truth was finally a solid floor beneath your feet, no longer just a distorted reflection.
Chapter 5. The Philosophical Clash.
But as you might guess, completely rewriting cosmic architecture doesn't just happen without a fight. As the Great Silence got deeper, the Obsidian Doctor challenged my whole project. He asked this incredibly cynical question: why bind transitory things to the stars? In his cold world view, human lives were just messy, fleeting, and only good for a harvest. To him, taking the human psyche and making it into cosmic pillars was totally pointless. It was sheer nihilism. But I had a resolute counter-argument ready for him.
See, in the old world, the jester had power because he was a thresher of lies. He tore down falsehoods, but he didn't leave anything solid in their place. My work is fundamentally different. To be saved, to escape being just another disposable asset, requires submission to a truth that never changes. You have to anchor yourself to the eternal.
Chapter 6. Permanent Threads of Dawn.
So, as this massive philosophical clash echoed through the ruins, the jester's final bell chimed in the distance, the ultimate death of the old world. And my work was complete. Just look at the sequence here. First, your falling sparks were caught safely in the silver web. Second, your psyche, the eyed ego and superego, was woven into a singular unyielding fabric. You weren't shattered remnants anymore. You were fully integrated into a cosmic tapestry that literally houses the light of the dawn.
Which brings us to the ultimate question of this whole explainer. You've been transformed from a fragile existence into solid coordinates, permanent threads within the Silver Cathedral. But it's up to you to hold your place in that web. So I leave you with this to think about. Will you hold your structural permanence, or will you remain unraveled when the heavy metallic clink of duty finally signals the end of time? Thank you for exploring the cosmic loom with us today.